Hey, you're listening to Don't Lie to Your Life Coach podcast with Kim Arrington. I'm Kim Arrington. I'm a life coach, a weight loss coach, an author, and a badass passionate about helping you connect back to your most authentic self. Join me here each week so I can coach you on how to think all those juicy thoughts that get you feeling your absolute best and taking some big ass action. Coaching has changed my life, and it can change your life too. I'm here to give you real life solutions to create a life you'll love. Because the truth is, boo, you ain't just got problems, you got options. Hey. It has been a long time. You have been pod rewound to death. Well, first of all, welcome back. I don't think I've recorded since August. Those pod rewinds where I, you know, replayed episodes were super important because I have been writing a book and I will be doing an episode all about it. Today, I got to the part where I was putting together the table of contents. There are 13 chapters right now. I'm happy to be back. I had to push myself to get here, and that's okay when you had to push yourself to do something that you know it's time for you to do. That's actually normal human behavior. I just want to catch up on a couple of things with you because it's been so long. I saw Wicked, OMG, and I think I'm going to do a whole episode around what I felt about Wicked and how I think Wicked is important for us as people kind and also for us as women or people who identify as women. So yes, I don't have FOMO. I got to see that, and that was cool. And yesterday, I was able to offboard my longest client, and I was supposed to look up and see how long she's been with me, I think since 2019. And we have been through, so many important things. And she was crying, and I was like, okay, it's okay for me to cry, but. And she was just like the transformation. She had a child, went through a divorce. She left her job and went to another job. And one of the things I have been pushing her to do was to get into dating. And she literally got out there, put her stuff in. The first guy she went on a date with, things are going amazing. She's so happy and he's treating her wonderfully. But we really worked through what it meant to be her authentic self. And we really worked through what it meant for her to sit in her own energy and not do everything. It's one of the things I have been practicing myself. Everything doesn't fall on me. I don't have to do everything. Ironically, when you do less, you receive more. We can find a way to do things from the full cup versus the cup that ain't got nothing in it. This episode is all about how to turn a no into a yes. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to name the episode How to Turn a Powerful No into a Yes or How to Turn a No into a Powerful Yes because I feel like they're one and the same. This podcast is for you. If you've been told no so many times, that it could be your ringtone, okay? Or if you're ready to transform rejection, I will put the episode in all about rejection and how to transform that. I don't remember the name of it. If you're ready to transform rejection into redirection and celebration, if you've got big goals and want to navigate roadblocks because so many of my no's have turned into powerful yeses. I think that's the name of the episode, How to Turn Your No into a Powerful Yes. I think that's it. You secretly admire people who always seem to get their way, and you want to know their magic trick, which is literally transmuting a no. If you've been told no by someone and you kind of resent the fact that they've told you no, And if you believe no is just the beginning of the conversation, not the end, and you want some practical tips into turning obstacles into opportunities, you are in the right place. I will tell you, I am a serial entrepreneur. That means I have started many, many businesses. And I know for myself that one of the things that's so powerful for me is understanding to keep asking until I get my yes. And by the time I do that, some of the people who said no have reconsidered and come back around. It's a big energy thing. And this is what we're going to be talking about in 2025. Y'all are learning how to feel your emotions, right? So for so many of us, me included, we grew up not feeling our emotions, and it was kind of attached to that good girl thing where we can't show all of our emotions, especially anger. And then we got into our 40s and our 30s, our 50s, and we were like, no, we need to be feeling our emotions, right? We need to be feeling anything we're feeling. And then a lot of us kind of stayed there, like we just feel our emotions. But to me, emotional sophistication is going to the next step. Now that I've mastered recognizing, right? That's step one, step two, then you feel it, step three, and then step four. Step four is emotional mastery. Now that I know how to recognize the emotion, I'm not scared to feel it, no matter what it is, then I want to transmute it. Kind of like what we're talking about, this turning this no into a yes. Like I want to learn how to take the emotion and decide what I want to do with it. It may not be lashing out and it may not be telling somebody it's wrong. I have a friend who reached out to me about something that happened at her job. And I was like, can't you just change it? Does it need to be a big conversation? Do you need to be angry? Do you need to be resentful? That's not to say that you shouldn't. She talked to me about it, but emotional mastery was her deciding, like, looking at the situation. She was like, yeah, I think this person was trying to be funny, but like, and we've done this in the past. Like, she kind of put herself in the person's shoes. And ironically, her and the person had this moment at work where the person opened up and was really emotional about personal things. And she came back. She's like, if I had just sat in that resentment of her, thinking she was trying to be this or that, then, I wouldn't have been able to have this beautiful opportunity where I was compassionate and I was empathetic and we connected. I recognized that this wasn't something she intended to do. That's emotional mastery. I don't have to speak on everything. I can use my power to do what I want to do. And we're going to talk all about that in 2025 because y'all can't just stay stuck in I feel my emotions. I recognize my emotions. I'm mad as hell. The next part is what do I want to do with that emotion that comes up? And that's what we are going to be talking very much about in 2025. Let's get back to some practical ways to turn those no's into yeses. And this is something where I think the other day I saw something called gold-plated grit, that ability to like decide I'm gonna make this happen no matter what. I'm going to align with the people. This is one of the complaints I had about the Wicked movie, especially as a Black woman. And I know there was the green woman, right? But this thing of everybody's against me, you got to be careful about that. That idea that everybody's out to get me. Emotional mastery is I'm going to connect with my people no matter what. And gold-plated grit feeds off of that realization that what I want can be done, or I wouldn't have even imagined it. I mean, y'all think about the person who came up with penicillin. Think about the person who came up with the cure for polio. Think about the person who created GPS or, the person who helped to innovate plumbing in homes. Like, or I'm from North Carolina, the Wright brothers. First flight was just seconds. And now y'all getting on a plane to Hawaii. Grit is a powerful way to turn no into a yes. Like, I'm going to keep asking. I'm going to put in your show notes. There's a episode I did about continuing to ask until you get the right person, keep asking until the right person shows up. That's something that's one of those ways to turn your nose into a yes. You really got to decide. I was just coaching someone yesterday about identity. You really have to decide your identity isn't about receiving no's. You really have to decide your identity is I get to have what I want. I get to have my desires. I get to make things happen. And I think that's something unique. That's why you got to keep a couple of entrepreneurs around you because we're so accustomed to things not working out the first time that we keep going. And any entrepreneur, I don't care who you talk to, will tell you their string of quote unquote failed businesses before they got to the one that worked. That's kind of our love language, right? Okay, so let's get into it. I want you to think about this for a second. I'm going to even give you some Jeopardy music just for a moment. What if every no you ever received was your gateway to the yes of the life you have now? I want you to think about some of those no's. One of the things about the no's is, and I jotted this down before, there are kind of three ways to look at a no. There's a no you give yourself. I'm a weight loss coach, and part of what I teach my clients is the no that you give yourself. I've already eaten, I'm satisfied. I have this life full of other satisfying things. Food is not just something I continually say yes to. I'm allowed to find yeses in other places in my life. And then there's that no you give others. We often sum that up with boundaries. I think y'all need some work around what boundaries are because I think sometimes y'all go way too rigid and way too loosey goosey. So there's somewhere in the middle. But there's that no we give others, and then the no that you receive. And I want to make sure that you understand that just because someone isn't able to deliver in the way you think doesn't mean they can't deliver at all. You could say, hey, I know this doesn't work for you, but what part of this could work or what's something that could happen? If you are so rejection adverse that you hear the n of the no, that you go running away and take your ball and go home, you're going to miss out on a lot of golden opportunities because really one of the things to think about is that no that you first receive can be a jumping off point of negotiation. It can be a place where you kind of learn more about the other person to figure out what they need in the situation to make that happen. Like, I'll give you an example from my life. I was this performer, I did poetry, I was a professional singer. I got asked to do charity events a lot. I decided I could do 2 to 3 a year. I built that into my business. I would give names of other people or say, hey, I can't do this, but I can do this. Thinking about not taking the no as a shut door, but where can I be less rigid and understand the other person's perspective? It can be a jumping off point for us to figure things out. This is the deal. It just takes one yes and a lot of time no's that can change your life in a powerful way. I mean, I think about people who were like, they got up to the ticket counter at the airport and they were like, no, you can't get on the plane. And then the plane crashed. Or someone who said no to this person and then met the love of their life after they let go of the person they thought they were going to be with and they were open, so they were able to receive that. If you are my dating divas, I teach you all to go on 3 dates before you decide, as long as they're respectful, as long as you feel safe. 3 dates. When you all say, I'm not attracted, I'm just like boo hiss. Most of us have attraction based off of the things we missed out on. I had a therapist who said, if your car didn't have air condition and you go to buy a new car, the first thing you might do when you get in the car is turn on the AC to see how it works, but you may not find out about the gas mileage, the handling. You may not find out, does this car really feel good for me? Because all you're thinking about is what you're missing out on. That's how attraction can be. So if you're dating someone, 3 dates, y'all. My former client was like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm attracted. And I was like, 3 dates. Talked to her 2 weeks later. She's like, this is wonderful. This is great. I can't believe it. You've got to challenge your beliefs. I'm going to put a book that I have been enjoying so much. I've recommended it to everybody in the show notes. The book is Mark Manson. I have a fruit fly invasion. Get out of here. Compliments of the youngest child. If you see me swatting, it's because, like last night, I was laying down and a fruit fly was crawling on my eyebrow. Yes, I guess the fruit fly loves my eyebrows too. So the book is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And Mark has an Instagram. I'll link to that. I really want you to check out Mark's work because the book isn't what it seems. I judged it. I was like, I don't need a book that tells me not to care. I want to care. The book is helping you decide what is your priority in caring. And he does it in such a beautiful way. He's a great storyteller, and I can't wait to be on your podcast, Mark, because I will be. Okay. Some of us don't even ask because we're so worried about how bad no's feel. We avoid any situation where a no could come up. And that makes your life feel smaller. Part of the exhilaration of our lives is doing the hard things. Remember that gold-plated grit I talked about? Like pushing yourself beyond what you think you can do. Next time you're in a situation where you feel that little ick of, I don't even want to ask. I don't want to ask. I want you to like talk yourself through it and say, I'm going to ask. I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell you this story about The Rock. He was on a podcast recently with, and I was on TikTok when I saw this, a creator named Speedy. And I've seen him a bunch. He has his own kind of podcast. And he was talking like, Speedy was like, do you have fun? Do you basically work all the time? And The Rock realized that he was working all the time. He was pushing himself. I'll do an episode on that in the new year. You all are avoiding things that can make your life amazing. You got to put yourself in positions where you can receive that. This idea that every no can lead to something else. Someone tells me they can't do it. No. Maybe it leads to more time with my family, more self-care. Maybe it means to pursuing more goals, to that shift where I can receive a no, right? I want y'all to think about a job that you got a no to. And when you look back, you're like, ooh, thank goodness I didn't get that job. Or, that relationship that you were like, ugh, thank goodness I got out of it. Or that situation where it was like, I didn't go and look what happened. I want you to make sure that doesn't keep you from doing things, but that you realize that sometimes no's are golden. And on the other end of that golden thing, you can reevaluate and decide, well, what else do I want to now put myself, what other position do I want to put myself in to be able to receive the yes? If you journal or you can have a conversation aloud, I walk around the neighborhood and I talk out loud. I haven't done that in a while because I was getting over bronchitis, which I hadn't had like 6 or 7 years, and that's okay. That I got over that. But I want you to think about times where your nose led to a bigger yes? And what are some things that you could be avoiding that could be leading to the yes that you really, really want? Okay. So we're back. I just wanted, this was going to be short and sweet to get me back into the game. Think about this week a little bit more about what you want and how you can tolerate. No, like it's okay if I receive a no, because I'm going to keep going. Remember, we end each episode with an affirmation. I always get what I want, no matter what. That means if a no comes up, I'm still going to keep going. I'm still going to persevere. But I always get what I want means that if the no comes up, see, y'all got to be on my team where I like pre-think what I want the person to do, and it turns out exactly that way. That's my woo, that's my energy. Or someone will say no to me, and I'll go into my imagination and see them coming back and saying yes, and they do that. We're going to talk about more woo this year. Think about you always get what you want. Nothing stands in the way of what I want. I get what I want. It's mine. Yay! So much good stuff coming in these next few weeks. 2025 is just going to be ridiculous. So many opportunities to work with me, so many ways I'm going to serve you, so many things you're going to receive. I want your life to be the best you can have, okay? Have a good one. See you next time.
Are you feeling what you just heard? Good, good. Repeat after me. You don't have to figure it out on your own again anymore. I'm here to help. Head over to KimArrington.com and download my free video series dedicated to getting you feeling your best right now. Look around, there's some good stuff waiting on you. Got questions? Well, we're always talking on the socials, so find me on YouTube, Insta, and the book. Don't be shy, y'all. Go listen to another episode or join me here the same time next week. Finally, don't keep good shit to yourself. Share this with a homie that could use some help too. Remember, we're not lying to ourselves anymore. We're not lying to our doctors. And you damn sure don't lie to your life coach.